So this video is about to get serious when I start burning sage. Let's get into it. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the channel. I'm Shika, your conscious mentor, and today I'm going to be deep diving into the top 3 ways that you can just get out of a rut if you are currently in a spiritual awakening. Yes, being part of being in a rut as you go through ebbs and flows of releasing things that no longer serve you is part of it. But how do you continue to be motivated on your day-to-day life, at work, and all the things? So I thought it was most appreciated to do some sage burning today. So I brought this to kind of put into our space and to just release this energy. But I'm super excited to share this video because it relates so much with me, as I just did my plant medicine retreat, which you guys already know. If you haven't seen that video, go watch that. It's really good. Sit down, get some snacks, go watch that video. But when we go through spiritual growth, when we expand, it is so normal for us to feel like we don't want to get up, for us to feel like nothing's understanding us, no one is understanding us. And if you know what I'm talking about, put a little "I know what you're talking about" down below in the comment section, because that is completely normal. In this video, I'm hoping to help you feel confident as you go through your spiritual awakening and to really release everything that you need to, but most importantly, to understand that this is part of the process to getting closer to your conscious self. So sit down, relax, and I'm gonna go over those 3 tips with you. Before we get into the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe, as well as the notification bells. I do videos every single day for you amazing, beautiful souls. And today's subscriber of the day is Shibu. Thank you so much for being part of this family. I am so happy for each and every single one of you guys being part of the energy to manifest over 1 million souls that we support, and I'm so excited. But yeah, I can't wait, and I'm really excited. And if you feel called to do some energy work, mentoring work, or even a card reading, you can message me on Instagram for a card reading with me, and you can do the link down below to apply for the conscious mentoring. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into ways to get us into and out of a rut. So the first and foremost thing is, when we are going through a spiritual awakening, a lot of the times we're trying to understand the downloads, you know, especially if we went through a plant medicine experience, or even if you've just had a huge major change. You left a relationship, perhaps leaving or certain friends you're not connecting with anymore, or you just simply started doing the spiritual journey by meditating one day, and then that led you to where you are today. But regardless of the reason why, there is a reason why you are here on this video, and the reason why is because you're feeling a little low energy, and I want to be here to tell you that it is completely okay. But that being said, there are ways to help you go through this process and this feeling that you're getting to release. So the first and foremost thing that I wrote down that has been really helping me is understanding what you are experiencing and questioning all the things. A spiritual awakening is when an event happens in our life, or a big shift, and it changes all parts of our circumstances, our energy, and really forces us to change in this energy shift. You know, when someone breaks up with someone, you know, they're releasing someone that they've been with for so long. You know, they're no longer connecting their energy to that person, and there feels a sense of tension, you know. If you lose a job, you know, the stability in your root chakra tends to be shaken a bit, and you start to ask yourself, okay, what is my true purpose in this lifetime? What is my purpose? So I want you to type in the comment section, what is the change that you're currently going through? Another thing too with the spiritual awakening, it is completely normal to think that things that used to make sense doesn't make sense. And this is one of the biggest parts that tends to put people in a rut. And that's why I'm saying, if you start to have downloads, if you start to connect with beings and spirits and connecting with source, don't tell yourself, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't think this is actually happening. I know it's so easy to do that, but part of our spiritual growth is believing what we are seeing, what we are feeling, and what we know, and having confidence in it, even if it feels like it's new territory. Start asking questions. Get curious. This is important. If we allow ourselves to hold onto our old energy, our old being, by not questioning the things from the changes that are happening through our spiritual awakening, we're not actually growing at this time. We're actually not allowing our energy and our new shifts to integrate into our life. And I've seen many people who don't accept the spiritual awakening, and it actually prevents them from growing into amazing beings that you are. So one thing that I will say is, if you end up having a download or whatnot, write it down and ask yourself, how does this relate to my current reality right now? How does this relate to the changes that are going on in my life as I go through this spiritual awakening? Is this something new? Is this new territory? Have I asked my guides, which I'm going to go back to in one of our other steps? But these are all ways. Do not tell yourself and allow yourself to sit in that self-doubt because this is new grass, because this is a new garden. But just know, as you start to water it and ask it questions and understand this new consciousness, this new being that is within you, you are going to be able to expand so much more. With that being said, how can you start questioning? Journaling is a great state for this, and I want to say journaling in various ways. We're all different learners. So journaling doesn't only have to be writing down things. It could be drawing. Go and draw your dreams. Draw what you saw. Draw your downloads. Maybe you have a gift of seeing codes. Write the codes on the paper. And what I love to do sometimes in my book and in my journal, I flip through it one day and I just go to the page that comes to me. And usually when the page I fall onto, there's something that relates to maybe something I wrote 3 months ago that totally makes sense because I have fully understood why during my awakening I was getting all these downloads. What were the messages? Or maybe those are things that already happened. Another great thing to do when you're doing it is just to really connect with nature, connect with yourself, and understand that leaving a part of yourself as you go through the spiritual awakening is not a bad thing. We shed things all the time. As we do, we shed things that we outgrown. So during this spiritual awakening, don't allow yourself to accompany the fear to bring you into the rut, because you don't deserve to feel that energy. Celebrate this new shift by, again, like I said, asking questions to your highest conscious self and also to your guides. You got a big team right here for you. So connect with them because they're always there. Number 2, so you guys know that I talk a lot about social media. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. I am on all of them. I'm also a healer and an energy worker and an empath, and I have gifts. I feel things, you feel things, we know that. But when we're going through a spiritual awakening, it feels like someone just brought up the volume a little bit louder because we're in the process of purging things out, right? It's like when you move to a house, you're purging so many things, and even though there's so much chaos happening, and the reason why I'm putting this example is because I'm currently going through this situation, but when you're purging through all these things, there's so much energy being released and let go, but even when it's being released, you feel refreshed, you feel amazing. And this brings me to our mind of the consciousness. When we are in a rut, especially if we're going through ebbs and flows of the spiritual awakening, it is important for us to be aware of the information that we absorb. I talk a lot about taking a social media detox, and specifically when you're in a rut, make that something that is a priority. One thing I learned after coming back from my plant medicine ritual that really changed my life was how much turning my phone when I got there and turning it on when I got back, that 2 days that I ended up taking a break, didn't have to worry about the notifications or felt called to go on Instagram or to scroll on YouTube, really allowed my mind to just be. So I challenge you to take 2 days off, maybe the weekend, to just disconnect, connect with loved ones and whatnot, and then just turn off your phone. Yeah. Turn off your phone. And I know this sounds crazy because you're like, oh my gosh, how are people going to communicate with us? Tell your loved ones that you are disconnecting, you're doing a self-retreat. You are going to feel like a new person. And I can't stress that enough. When we are scrolling through social media, there is so much information that is subconsciously being absorbed. And this also challenges me with a question for you guys. Do you think it's worth in our culture for us to be following so many people on a social media? And I want you to ask yourself this journaling question. I'm going to push you on the spot because you know I like to put you guys on the spot. But think of it this way. Every person you follow on Instagram, on social media, do you genuinely follow them? Or do you just have them as clutter? I challenge you to clean up your social media before this 24-hour cleanse and after, and notice the difference of detachment. When we're going through a spiritual awakening, one of our biggest challenges is being able to detach from the energy, detach from things, detach from our old self to accompany the new being that we are and we always were. So I have a question for you guys. I want you to cleanse out your social media. I want you to clear out the people who do not serve you, that you are subconsciously just following. And I want you to detach yourself from that. And you will notice that that's going to help you make more room to connect with deeper people for your soul tribe and your spiritual awakening as well. Especially if some of those people connect with your older version of yourself, it's going to help you so much to disconnect that cord and to connect with the new and evolved and awakened being that you are right now. So one big thing, take a 48-hour social media detox, turn off that phone, tell your loved ones, I'm taking a little retreat, disconnect and find yourself to connect with it. And during this social media cleanse, your intention is to connect with your being, to just be. And that means don't go on the computer. That's not the point. Go and ground yourself in the earth. Go for a walk, go for a hike, connect with people, do those things. Connect with yourself. That's the best part. Have a party with yourself. But just don't allow yourself to just fall into the era of following just for following. We're following you. Your energy is most important. Your guides are following you. So let's refresh that and take yourself out of a rut by disconnecting any unnecessary information that's going to clutter yourself from your conscious being. Number 3, release. This is so huge. It's like, when you start a spiritual awakening, you think you released everything, and then you start doing it, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't release everything. And this is so common. There's so many times where I'm like, I think I'm done my spiritual awakening. And if you know what I'm talking about, put a little, Shika, I know what you're talking about in caps down below, because I know that feeling, man. It is literally the craziest thing where every single time you're like, oh, I think I'm good for my spiritual awakening, but not. Which brings me to this last point, release, and be patient with what you are releasing. Shadow work is not just a one thing. It continues. And people actually get multiple spiritual awakenings. You don't just go through one spiritual awakening. You go through consistent spiritual awakenings throughout your life every time there is a change. The only difference is, do you honor every time there's a change in your life and allow yourself to integrate that new energy? And a lot of us, including myself, usually we will say not every single one of them. So it is our responsibility energetically to release and let go. Release anger, scream in a pillow, punch a pillow, let it go. If there is something that you're letting go from this, or this specific change is reacting or allowing you to feel body pains, your body's being triggered for a reason. So let that go. Part of being in a rut is allowing yourself to take out the lower vibrations. And when you're going through a spiritual awakening, it's going to be shown even more. So let that go, release it. Shake it off, like release that off. Sadness, go cry. A good cry is so good. And if you know what I'm talking about, put a cry emoji down below. Crying is literally the best thing ever. And this is a Scorpio sun with a Leo moon talking here, where I literally always feel, oh, maybe I'm crying a little bit too much. But no, we need to cry. We need to let go. We need to release. So when you are going through a spiritual awakening and you feel like you get through these points, don't allow yourself to pull into, internalize your emotions, because that is going to actually stop the awakening, stop the shadow work. And sometimes it can actually cause more harm if you go through that shadow work and you allow yourself to surface these emotions and then you suppress it back again, and that is super important. So releasing the anger, letting go. Now, what if you know you have to release something, but fear comes in, sadness comes in, or maybe you don't know what you have to release, but you just have a feeling? Call into your guides. I've been talking to a lot of you guys on social media and Instagram, and one thing that I mentioned to you is ask your guides. And you're like, how do I ask my guides? I get it. I was the same way. go into meditation or even in journaling and literally talk to them like a person. You might not hear something, but you will definitely feel something as time goes on, and you will definitely see synchronizations and signs from them. And I actually have a lot of things such as my angel numbers playlist that talks about signs, and that's a great start. You know, what numbers we're seeing, because that's energy, right? But if you don't know what you have to release, but you have a feeling of what it is, go to your guides or do energy work. And if you feel called to that, like I said, I do that myself. You can look at that information down below. But energy work allows you to see the things that you subconsciously know, but the one thing that's holding you back is the fear that you know that something new is coming, but you just don't know what exactly it is. And that's a spiritual awakening. So many things have changed. You're lost and like, where am I going next? But that's the beauty. And this brings me to my last and final thought. Being in a rut is not a bad thing. Being in a rut is allowing you to feel the pain so you can decide with yourself, do I deserve to sink into this pain, or will I release it and allow myself to connect, to be challenged, and to learn where do I need to go next? Feeling pain is just as important as feeling happiness, because it allows us to understand what no longer serves us and what does serve us. So you have to decide after this video, do you choose to release this pain? Do you choose to let it go and not allow that to be my reality? Or will I just allow it to be and define me? And I know sometimes it's hard, I know that, but know that you deserve, it is your divine right to know that there is something so much better. There is a light, there is a star behind everything, and it is going to you. But you need to approach it too. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video on how to get yourself out of a rut when you're going through a spiritual awakening, life changes, or just really just feeling, I have to get out of this whole little rut, but I don't know why. I think this is a timely video, as this is a time and year of changes for a lot of people. And I want you to know that whatever you're going through these 3 steps are really gonna help you reflect. Let me know what really hit home for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe, as well as put notification bells for videos 3 or more every single week, moon and full moon lives, and so much more. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.